You don't want
Blog Talk Radio.
You don't need it.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dez, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war ain't Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
Turn me up in my headphones, yo. Turn me up. What? War Room family. You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my bro from another Mo, B. Austin. What up?
Oh no, we weren't ready. Nah, yo man, my life is better than y'all's because I got theme music, and I know y'all gonna say, when am I gonna stop drawing about having theme music 10 years into the show? Probably never.
I know we've had theme music since like episode 3, and then we had like episode 466, and B. Austin still feeling like the Jack of Spades because he got theme music. Every good hero should have something.
I got a new name. I just got a new name.
The homie, the brother, the blueprint, he's back from Globetrotting. He'll be with us in a few minutes. I'm pretty sure he's sleepy as hell. You know, he's finishing up his last nap before he got to get to work. But look, the NBA playoffs have gotten very interesting, to say the least. And it's not even really the actual competition in the semifinals. There's a lot of hot takers out there that have to eat a little bit of crow this week. Might end up eating some more crow next week. You never know. So we're going to rap about it all, but keep it locked right here because we're going to discuss that and everything happening in the world of sports. But if you want to get in the conversation yourselves, you know what to do if you're a loyal listener. If not, make sure you sign in right now to the JD Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, y'all know we always got to let you know that during the week when you're not doing anything, when we're not live on the air, you can check out archived episodes of our show on our own network at warroomsports.com and the War Room Sports mobile app. Also on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, wherever, man. Wherever you listen to podcasting, you know, we're probably there. Just go there, look up the War Room, look up War Room Sports, look up the War Room Sports Podcast Network. You will find us somewhere on your little computer thingies. But yo, did you hear that the bull Biff Tannen, aka President Donald Trump, is now all for reparations? Did you hear that?
Oh, break it down for me, brother. Shout out to David Ortiz, though.
Well, he's not down for reparations in the way that you and I would think. You know, when we think the word reparations, he's in the mix for his own reparations, and he thinks because of, you know, the whole investigation against him, he thinks that basically hijacked the first 2 years of his presidency. So he thinks he should get reparations, and he should get an extra 2 years in office, a 6-year term, as reparations for them hijacking the first 2 years of his presidency with these ridiculous investigations.
Yo, shout out to Tannen 45. That's his new name, Tannen 45. This, yo, I'm just gonna keep it a million with y'all, man. As black men, you know where we stand politically, but as human beings with twisted sense of humor, we'd be lying if we didn't love this dude, man. Like he is the most absolute asinine, racist, white patriarchal, white supremacist leaning figurehead the country will ever see. He's like a caricature. But I believe, based on what my belief that this country is, based on what my belief is, this country deserves every minute, every moment of Donald Trump, and he is here for the War Room's entertainment, and he is doing a smashing and stellar job. I'm thoroughly entertained. I know a lot of folks aren't, and I know why. And I am empathetic and sensitive and compassionate to why you may hate everything this man represents, because quite frankly, it's hateable. It's worth hating. But for me, I'm just entertained because I never expected that this was anything other than what America is. And shame on you if you did. This is joyful entertainment for me. He is hilarious. I'm done.
Make a joyful noise. If you woo! Yeah, it gets crazy, man. Dude has no issues saying anything. He says what he wants. He does what he wants. It's the most, like you said, like you gotta be entertained by it. Like, I've never seen anybody hijack the executive branch of government of the United States of America quite like this dude. Does what he wants, says what he wants.
Does what he wants, says what stays on Twitter. Like, listen, there's like a triple standard, not a double standard, like a triple standard for him because, listen, my man, we're not huge Barry Obama stands or fans or supporters, but as a black man, if Barry Obama tried 1/10 of the shenanigans this dude, they would have impeached him and sentenced him to death. Like,
firing squad. Wouldn't have just been impeachment. All right, man. So let's get into what we're here to get into, and that's Hot Topics. What is brought to you by MyBookie. If you guys want to make a little bit of extra money on the side, we're not asking you to do a little something for us on the corner. That's not what we're saying. But you can make a little bit of extra money on sports at MyBookie. And I'm thinking, to run that my little dude is on, B, I don't know. I might be hitting up MyBookie a little bit more myself. Shorty, he hasn't lost a team in his NBA bracket yet. And this Kevin Durant injury, if Harden doesn't harden in the next game or two, playoff Harden, and they can come back and win this without Kevin Durant, we'll talk about that later. Shorty gonna look like a genius because he went out on a limb and said the Rockets were gonna beat them in the second round, but he got the Rockets going on to beat the Bucks in the NBA Finals. This is a little shorty who's become a diehard Sixers fan. Like, when have you ever seen somebody that young talk about stuff like this and not talk about it like with their heart, but instead doing it with their head? I gotta pat myself on the back because I think I'm doing a good job here.
Spend too much time around his pop.
Yo, man, straight up. Because think about it. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. I'm like, first of all, like a 7-year-old, like not picking his team to beat everybody and go all the way. I know 40, 50, and 60-year-olds who can't do that. I know people from Philly right now who picked the Sixers to beat every single body they played, every game they played. They're a little upset at the moment.
Never mind that. I know men that get paid millions of dollars to be sports pundits that have no objectivity.
All right. Well, look. Anyway, let me finish this real quick. You guys can lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Just join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. If you guys are tired of getting a runaround at those other services when it's time to get paid, that's why we urge you to give it a try. You win, they pay. No hassles. You're basically wasting your time betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game start. So join now and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. You heard it right, 100%. Just use promo code WARROOM, all caps, to activate the offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid, period. Nothing else. And what up, Jimmy the Globetrotter back in the building. Blueprint.
What's up, beloved? How y'all?
After all the Globetrotting, you had to get your you had to finish up your last little nap because the jet lag is real.
Listen,
so yeah.
The jet lag is real. Not only is jet lag real, them damn Western Conference games in the NBA, like I've been up watching them games and
I know.
That's painful the next day.
It's crazy for just the average person doing the average things the next day. But you just came from the other side of the globe. And then you come back and try to get back on your regular clock, and then you up watching West Coast games. Like, you need some sleep.
And also the matter is we're aging gentlemen, so it's like back in the day, staying at your West Coast game was nothing, dog. Trying to do that at this age, cuz, man, listen. But I couldn't cut that game off last night.
I'm about to say that's but for me, I can't even say that. Because for me, it's all about the DVR these days, man. Like, because I know as soon as I sit down that I'm not going to make it. Like during the playoffs, the fact that we have a West Coast game almost every night, I wake up on the couch every morning at like 4 a.m. Luckily, the TV got the little joint where it cuts itself off if nobody's moved in the last 4 hours. So I always have to go back and watch like the second half of the game in the morning. Huh?
Your wife probably think you love her and you go to bed.
I know. I either don't get into bed, just not to bother, or I gotta creep and get into bed at 4 or 5 in the morning. It's weird.
But it's crazy
real weird,
because I'm a weirdo.
NBA
like I'm a weirdo. I'm still one of the dudes that can't watch like sporting events on like DVR. Like I don't know why, I just can't. Like, I can't do that.
Like any TV show, I can't do that. I can't do that on the regular. It's one of those things where it's only like during this playoff time, because in the regular season, if I'm up and I watch a West Coast game, but in the playoffs, you kind of press to watch everything. So the fact that I know I'm going to fall asleep, I just hit the button, and when I get up, I try not to hear what happened, and then get a little nap, and then come back down and watch it like I was just watching it that night. But yeah, I'm like you. I can't record a game, especially find out what happened and then go watch the game. Like, that's not possible.
But
once I find out what happened, it's over.
I was thinking about something last night while watching the game, and we was in the group chat chatting during the game. I said the good thing about it is, with like LeBron going out west and it's not like a steamroll, the East has actually been like very entertaining this year too. Because it used to be you had to watch the Western Conference because the East you already knew what was going to happen. But outside of and we'll talk about Boston or what have you, but some entertaining games. Playoffs are pretty good.
You know what though? I still think LeBron is the greatest forecaster that we've seen. Because I swear, I don't see how, as constituted, even though people were saying they were done last year and they still made it out. But as constituted, I don't see how Cleveland with LeBron would have gotten out of the East this year. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's great.
But a lot of people jumped the gun and couldn't see it last year. I still knew they had a chance last year. Because their biggest threat last year was missing all of their people, and they still took them to the break.
When you look at the Western Conference, which has been top heavy, but now when you look at it, the young guns are all in the East. So he found a way not only to get out of the East before Cleveland, he found a way to get out before the East becomes a dominant conference.
Going to a weekend in West.
Went to the weekend in West. Yeah. Sunsetting on his career in West.
Because as soon as you break you break that thing up in Golden State, it's pretty much anybody's race at that point. you're looking at Houston, but
basketball anyway. LeBron don't care about basketball. Yo, if you watch HBO for about an hour, right, you'll notice that he don't care. He got so many shows and so much going on. I'm like, I don't even know when he finds time to play ball.
I know. It's crazy. All right, so we don't really have much in the way of hot topics today anyway, man. We just wanted to definitely give a rest in peace shout out to David Montgomery, who passed away at the age of 72. He was the chairman of our beloved Philadelphia Phillies. Dude was straight up homegrown. He died from jawbone cancer. Don't even.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Yeah.
I don't mess with y'all. Just leave it alone. Come on, man. Leave it alone.
Yo, all I'm telling you, I'm just going to say B. Austin stop, because I know B. Austin.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking to. I can hear him in the background like, yo.
I'm coughing. It's allergy season, man. Damn. Wrong with y'all?
Yo, Bull was straight up homegrown. He's from Philly, went to Penn Charter. They said he started back in like the 70s, like working in the ticket office or something like that. Yeah, he began his career with the team in 71, working in the ticket office and helping to run the scoreboard. He soon became the marketing director and then the director of sales. Then he became the team's executive vice president after the 81 season. Then he became the COO in 1992. He remained in that position until being promoted to general partner, president, and chief executive officer in 1997. After returning from his surgery in 2015, he was named chairman. And then a few days ago, he actually passed away. Like, yo, that's ascension. He went from the ticket office. Did he? That's the quote unquote American dream for the team that you rooted for all your life too. That's crazy.
I think it's dope because we don't see that no more anywhere. Like, I think it's dope when I see people that like might work at a Acme or a Packmark that started like bagging groceries, and then 30 years later they're running like of them or something like that.
Like
I think
regional manager at Acme.
We just don't see that no more because cats be out. Like, it's like, yo, everybody is. I mean, even you want to make the parallel to sports. Yo, it's like who got a bigger bag, and where is it better for me to live?
We going anywhere for a shake.
And who got the strongest baggers? I want to go work with them.
Yeah, so it's not even. So it transcends sports. Like, you won't see stories like that anymore. Because even like sports executives be like, yo, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you end up in a place where you rooted all your life, it's because you came back. You probably ended up being an athlete, and then once it was over, you go back and they give you a chance, kind of like Tomorrow Jr. But this dude, like, his whole life, he's been in this organization from the door.
Yo, but it's
selling tickets, running the scoreboard.
Culture change. It's such a culture change that even when, like with the whole Lakers situation with them, like looking for a president, and you watch like the insiders, and they tell you that there's cats like the guy in Toronto or a couple people who are already planted with the team, have a pretty secure job. And they were like, yo, all they got to do is ask, and they'll leave. Like the boy from Toronto, who's been very good at his job.
Mashiri,
whatever his name is. Yeah. They say he's just waiting for the call. Basically, I'm like, damn, like, but you pretty much have built something and you're very successful.
Yeah, people be trying to get up out of Canada though. But shout out to Toronto, man. Love that city. Shout out to the poutine and the poutang.
It's funny. I remember as a young boy, right, when Vince Carter used to complain about his taxes, and I understood it, but I didn't understand it like the way I do now. Like, looking now, I see what he was saying. Like, he's making a fraction of what his contemporaries are because he was getting taxed like crazy. Because
he got sent to that damn team across the board. At least there was one saving grace back then. You could at least say, well, at least they ain't got me in Vancouver. At least it wasn't a Grizzly.
Yeah.
Because that's like, you got the tax ramifications and you just got a terrible franchise, terrible organization playing with teammates.
Plus Toronto is lit. Like, Toronto is a dope city, period.
Yeah, definitely is. All right, so we don't have much in the way of this, so we can give our quote of the week and our stat of the week. in the same breath. All right, our stat of the week plus quote of the week both come from Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, after Game 3 of the series that they just got finished off in versus the Bucks, and we'll talk a little bit about that as a whole later. But after Game 3, he said, "Quote: From this point on, I don't think you'll see another 8 for 22." He followed that up in Game 4 by shooting 7 for 22. So he wasn't wrong, was he?
Well, I mean, technically he was right.
I'm about to say he wasn't wrong, was he? Like,
Technically he was right. I mean,
he went out and missed another shot. Like, I told him no more 8s, so I got to go ahead and brick this one.
Here's the thing, though. It was I mean, on one hand, you like, look, go out, and if you're gonna shoot, keep shooting. But he just didn't play well at all. Some of his shots, he was drawn. I think that people take that their sessions with Kobe way too serious because they know that's what Kobe was.
Mm-hmm. You know how we said, you know how we credit Michael Jordan with messing the modern game up a lot? I think Kobe might be crushing the buildings just as much. Like, as usual, he's coming up behind his pop and continuing that legacy. I think Kobe might be doing that just as well because everybody you see that they say worked out with Kobe, they're very skilled. Kyrie, Beige Mamba out in Boston as well, Jason Tatum. Just people that they name, but you also see the mentality that they start to get. Because I don't even think it's Kobe in general, but it's what people perceive, quote-unquote, Mamba mentality to be. So they think they got to go out there and clone him when, if you look deeper and even if you ask Kobe, that might not even be exactly what Mamba mentality is. Just like with Michael Jordan. He didn't go out to crush the game on purpose, but the bar that he set and the understanding of what these players think you have to do in order to be like Mike is kind of, backfiring on the game per se. So Jimmy, you said, you said he was shooting a lot. Listen to what he said after that game. And Kyrie, much like Kevin Durant for a minute, much like Russell Westbrook, much like Kobe in his later years, he's starting to get into that mold where he's a total jerk off when it comes to the media. So they asked him because during this game, he left before the final buzzer. So they asked him about leaving the floor early. His only answer was the game was over. Then they asked him about his shooting night. They asked him for his shooting night. Listen to this. He says, "I'm trying to do it all. For me, the 22 shots, I should have had 30. I'm that great of a shooter." Yeah.
Word.
So then he started talking more.
I actually saw the press conference, and the funniest thing about it is not even just what he said. It's the grumpy way that he said it. Like, he was acting as if they were really bothering him. Like, leave me alone. Like, his whole demeanor in saying that was hilarious.
In the vein of those other players I named. So then he started breaking it down for him. And I guess, Kyrie, when he talks, he always tries to sound like he's extra deep, but it just comes off as like Keith Murray raps. He said, "The ball doesn't go in the rim." So listen, he said, "When the ball doesn't go in the rim, the energy of the basketball can translate to the other end as well. That's just basketball 101. That's a choice that we have to make. And just being more communicative, it's a natural thing as an individual when your shots aren't going and be thinking about that shot as you go down in the defensive position. It can take you out mentally and the other team is running, especially in the playoffs where possessions are magnified unbelievably. It's been a consistent thing for us that we haven't made shots and the defensive end of the floor is taking lapses. But it just can't happen going forward. We have no choice. At this point, it's do or die. Next game, they lost. They're out of the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Here's the thing about it.
Shout out to Barkley.
The thing about it is Kyrie is very articulate and he's very well spoken. And when you hear him talk, like, I understand
he's always the smartest guy in the room.
But one of the things that you recognize as you grow and you mature is that sometimes saying the smartest people actually say less. He could have said that. He could have literally said that, sometimes it hurts you on the defensive end if their shot's not falling. And that's saying the same thing. instead of like him pontificating
But he said
as if he's Will Smith,
he said a bunch of flat Earth mambo jambo.
Nah, you had it right. He is the analogous Keith Murray of the NBA.
Yeah, he went full Smith on this instead of just saying like, you know, because what he said makes sense and it is obvious. Like sometimes when your shot's not falling, it can affect you on the other side.
It's just mambo jambo to an NBA audience. Like they like what?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But the thing is, it's funny
the most
because
beautifulest
he's like so
thing in the
grumpy,
world.
but he's grumpy, but he speaks well, so it's kind of weird. Like it's comical actually. I think that his preferences in his past series.
But you know what? When you're grumpy and you're well spoken, Jim. When you're grumpy and articulate, it just makes you sound that much more condescending.
It does, and that's what makes it funny.
We've all been there before. We've done it with people plenty. We've done that to people plenty of times where we're in a back and forth with people, but we start using big words, long diatribes, and really you're doing that to play them out because you know, like the person I'm talking to, I know they don't really understand what I'm saying, and that's the whole point of it.
Or you just go be Austin and write a 6-page
using
essay.
big words that I don't understand. I'm gonna take it as disrespect.
Yo, but Kyrie is a piece of work, man, and his press conferences that past series, more entertaining than his game, actually. The thing about it is all these people with this Kobe mentality that just want to like, you know, go out shooting and all that. The one thing it has done is it makes me appreciate the guys who like play a different way. Like when you watch Giannis or when you watch Kawhi and how efficient and how like and that's the thing. Like sometimes people love the scores. Everybody always loves a score. But sometimes people love scores so much that they miss the beauty of the game. When you see someone who can play within the flow of the game, pick their spot, and be just as dominant. It's like that. It's a beauty in basketball that I think a lot of people miss. When I'm like, conversating with people, they love the people that go out there and it's a gun, which is cool. But what about the score 7 and be 60%?
Listen, I respectfully disagree. No, I think that what you're saying is it holds merit in the overall when you look at basketball overall. But with Kyrie specifically, I definitely see a lot of Kobe, and what I see is their path, or they believe their path to greatness has to come through them demonstrating just how great and at what pinnacle they can take their skill level in order to cement in your mind how great they are. It's not good enough to hit the shot.
Yeah, but see,
I got a tween.
When it comes to Kyrie. Because Kyrie, to me, Kyrie comes off as wanting to be Kobe, but not really. That's not really his personality. An example of that would be him coming out saying,
"First of all, that's not really even his."
Now
size.
I know what it means.
He can't even impact the game.
Him apologizing to LeBron, saying, "Yeah, you don't know what it means to be a leader." And, Kobe would have never did that. Kobe would have
that disqualified him.
Even if Kobe would have recognized that and felt that way, he would have never expressed it. That's the difference. The difference is
from a different cloth. I don't admit it. I don't admit LeBron's a better basketball player than me. I'm only playing on the playground.
And that's what I'm saying. So therefore, I think his comes off is a little different. He has a little mama mentality, but he's also mixed in with a little 2019 emo. He's an emo mamba.
Yeah, he's an emo mamba. Emo
mamba. Yeah, it's crazy though, because I don't know. I've heard a lot of pundits recently, especially this week, say that Kyrie is just not as good as he thinks he is. That may be the truth. Kyrie is a highly skilled.
But that's true about everybody.
I know, but he's a highly skilled basketball player, one of the most skilled players in the league. But skills doesn't always result in impact, and I think that's the difference. Like, you can have all the attributes and the skills that you could possibly have, but you're not impacting the game the same way as a Kobe
And
Bryant.
Ray Allen had all the skills in the world, and he wanted to cross-dress and three.
It's the conversation I've been having with Court all week. I don't care what your attributes are if you're not doing it. Like, at some point, you have to show and prove. You can be the most skilled person. It's like you guys have been in the gym where you see somebody like warming up and they like knocking down everything, they crossing everybody over. Then once the game starts, it's like you have to that. Where'd that go?
Right.
Okay.
No, and that's
you know what I mean. Like,
speaking of that, like that's what I see in the kid, and all his workout videos from the summertime, and you're like, all right, he got that with his game, and you know he's doing a lot with a little bit of motion, and he's smooth with it. He looks so skilled, and then he comes back with all of this praise and everything, and you know he has a season that's no better than the season he had last season. Even with similar numbers, I would go out on a limb and say it was much worse because you know you were looking for him to blow up the way that everybody was talking about him. So he has
like when a quarterback,
the tools, he has the skills, but it's about impact, man.
It's like when a quarterback is injured and a new guy comes in and he's like balling out of control, and then he plays a couple games and they get some tape on him and they scheme for him.
Right.
And then he looks like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, everything's cool, but then when you got somebody that's like preparing for you specifically and have picked up on, like, you know, the nuances of your game, then things change. It's cool in the summertime when you're working out, but when you got grown that are just as fast, just as strong at the highest level, specifically in the playoffs, defending you, things change.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you play the same position as that beast over in Milwaukee. I saw him trying to guard Giannis, and it wasn't funny. I felt sorry for the kid.
I mean,
the other side of his genetics.
His homie in the same position though. Ben Simmons out there playing his heart out, trying to defend Kawhi Leonard, and by real purist basketball accounts, like, he's not doing a lot of things wrong. I mean, sometimes he gets caught out there doing something stupid, trying to gamble or being lazy after the pick came. But for the most part, he's out there defending this dude pretty well. But Kawhi's just busting his ass. Sometimes it doesn't matter.
It's like
great offense trumps great defense sometimes.
When I watch Kawhi play, he's the best player in the world, and that's bar none. Like, but it's just that when I don't watch him play, I forget he exists. But when he's on that court,
or after the game, after you're impressed, you wake up the next morning like.
Yeah, as soon as the game is over, I forget anything he did. But while we're watching the game, he looks like the best player I've ever seen play basketball.
Got to do with a shoe.
Like,
I'm like, yo, does this mute miss? Like, this dude don't miss.
And it's fun.
And he's not taking a bunch of easy shots. Just won't miss.
Yo, I saw a video today, right? And I actually watched that whole 20-minute video. It shows the kind of life I got. But I watched that whole 20-minute video with him and Serge Ibaka. And Kawhi is like a funny dude, but he's like a real dry humor type dude.
Well, he tried to tell y'all that, man. He tried to tell you he was a funny
dude. But he literally doesn't care about anything but basketball and hanging with his family, though. He was like, yo, I just want to work on my game. Like, I want to work on my game and then, like, you know, chill with my wife. Like, that's basically what he said. Like, he don't care about.
He got a wife?
He don't care about social media. Yeah, he got a chick. He's got a chick he's been with since like high school.
Yeah.
But
right, because he's afraid to talk to anybody else, so he's just gonna stick with that.
The bull is he should care about basketball. That's his thing. Like, he's a basketball head. That's all he does is try to get better at basketball. So, boy asked if he got social media. He said, for what? He was like, everything I do, y'all gonna post about anyway. So why I even gotta be on there?
I mean, he's not social though. You need the media for. All right.
But that
so real quick,
different.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, just dial the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted. If you already listen from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. We're about to get into some stuff that happened this week while y'all were on the grind. I couldn't wait for this.
While
this
you
is
were
interesting.
on the grind?
It's going to be fun.
While you were on the grind is brought to you by Sports the Book, the greatest sports book ever written. Listen, make sure you copy it. Stop playing yourself. You can get it at two places, sportsthebook.com or go to our hub, which is warroomsports.com. It's a mixture of sports, hip-hop, comedy. It's a great book, but that's Sports the Book. But it's time to talk about what happened this past week while you were on the grind. The first story are two convicted in the college basketball corruption trial. So it seems like there's always a college basketball corruption trial. Like at some point, like the gig has had to be up. Every year it's a college basketball corruption trial, isn't it? Hello?
My bad. I'm muted out. I was saying that this one, we know that a lot of dudes who just recently got drafted and a lot of dudes who will get drafted, this summer have their names plastered all over this one. But on Wednesday, like Jimmy was saying, the federal jury in New York convicted aspiring agent Christian Dawkins. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago, and former Adidas consultant Merle Cole for their roles in bribing basketball assistant coaches to influence their players to sign with Dawkins' new sports management company and certain financial advisors once they turn pro. They said the jury deliberated for parts of 3 days before convicting these two. Dawkins was found guilty of bribery and conspiracy to commit bribery, and Cole was convicted of conspiracy to commit bribery. Dawkins had been facing 6 total charges, and Merle Cole was facing 4. So this is just the conviction. I don't know once this goes to sentencing. I don't know exactly what they're facing, but yeah, like Jimmy said, it seems like something's always going on in the realm of college sports, especially college basketball and this kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I'd be mad as hell. If
it's a lot of names
for bribery. Mad as hell if I go to jail for bribery in a country that has something known as lobbying. What's the difference? But anyway,
I know. I know. Like the highest offices can be attained, and the most things can get done in the government because literally bribery.
I'm just trying to sell some Adidas, man. They hating, man. Yeah. Anyway, man.
Kicks,
the next story is about
some clients.
The Calabinasian Earl Woods, a.k.a. Tiger Woods, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by his brother in smut, Donald J. Trump.
Smut brother.
Yeah.
You hear the kind of keywords Trump was using in this whole thing, man? First of all, why'd they dress alike? Did y'all notice that?
Yeah.
They had on same color suit, same color tie. Like, we taking this a little
My brother.
So, if you don't know, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is the highest civilian honor that you can get from the President of the United States. It's not absurd because it was given to an athlete, because this is not the first time that this award or this honor has been bestowed upon an athlete. But
usually it's an athlete that has some sort of, it's usually an athlete that has some sort of activism or does some sort of work outside of their sport.
He just did it because he won, and he hadn't won in a long time.
I just don't. Yeah, maybe Tiger does do a lot of stuff in the community. I don't know about it.
Yeah, but that don't have anything to do with why Trump is yet to say that that's why he was giving it to him. He said, because actually Tiger's the 4th golfer to earn this distinction, and of course he's the youngest. Now, Trump said during the ceremony, he said Tiger was back on top. He said, this evening, we're in the presence of a true legend, an extraordinary athlete who has transformed golf and achieved new levels of dominance. He's also a great person. He's a great guy. But the reason why Tiger's story is such an interesting one is because quote unquote, not being a great guy derailed his career. So, because you were looked at from a lot of people as POS, because you come back and win the Masters some 11 years later, that makes you a great guy all of a sudden? Or is it because these guys have been friends for years?
Can you imagine Can you imagine the heights that Tiger would have reached if they let him this whole, like, think about how he was when he was out there, you know,
Tiger be Tiger and stay on a steady diet of Myras. Oh my God.
My man was, when he was letting Tiger, man, he was out there killing it. Oh man. Anyway, man.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
Yeah, Tiger showed up, you know, with matching outfits, looking real suspect. But so Tiger anyway, man. Yo, did you guys hear what Gilbert Arenas said about Vince Carter? Like, basically, Vince Carter's coming back for his 22nd season, and instead of Gilbert saying, man, that's dope, congratulations, he basically was like, yo, you holding up a spot with your old man. He didn't use those particular words, but that's what he was saying. He was like, you know, every year you stay around, you get a roster spot because you're Vince Carter, but there's like a young, hungry guy who's not getting a job, basically because you're blocking it.
Right.
And I think it's some truth to that.
I think it's some truth to that. It's one of those you can kind of see both sides because Vince Carter.
But I'm supposed to be mad at that.
Right. You like if you're looking at it from Vince Carter's perspective, you're like, okay, because there's a young, hungry dude out here. That mean I'm supposed to stop my checks if somebody's still willing to pay me. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have chatty patties counting his money, like, oh, Vince got enough money, he don't need to do that. But hey, he must have the love. He must not mind getting a paycheck for 7 points a game, and he must not mind playing for teams like the Atlanta Hawks.
And he's still better than Robert Ory.
Here's the great thing about basketball, right? Like, if I'm Vince, I tell him in the words of Sean Carter, man, come and get me. Because my thing is, if there's a young boy, beat me out for the spot. Because if there's a young boy that's going to beat me out for the spot, they don't care that I'm Vince Carter. They'll beat me out. They'll do what Dallas did to Dirk. They'll announce retirement before I say I'm doing it.
But like, you know what? That's what he said. That's what Gilbert actually said, though. He said when it comes down to, you know, a young, hungry player who might be better than Vince Carter at this point, he says sometimes they're going to go with the name because, you know, you're Vince Carter. I don't really see that being the case because what does having the name Vince Carter do for you or your franchise right now? And he's playing on teams like, Atlanta's not a threat, you know? So I can see what Gilbert is saying.
He ain't bringing nobody to the arena no more. It's a little truth in it, but at the end of the day, like, this is when it comes to sports, and that's the key thing when you think about football or basketball, that every year there are people coming in to basically replace other people's jobs. Like, you go to a draft party as a professional athlete, you could be cheering for your replacement. But that's one of the beauty things of it. Like, if I'm good, I'm going to – listen, teams want to win. They might hold on Vince Carter in his 22nd year if the young boy that's better than him.
But I think it's –
here's the thing, though. Vince hasn't been terrible, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing limited minutes, getting limited stuff, so he looks okay in his limited minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But every team –
Hit dunk once a month. They'll make a big deal about it like it was a hot dog.
Yeah, because these are my thoughts. Like Jimmy said, like nobody's keeping Vince because you think he's putting butts in the seat. Those days have passed. And on my first thought was also to say, well, teams ain't really keeping Vince to help them win either because that ain't really going to happen. But then when you think about it, there are a lot of teams, well, not a lot, but there's some teams out there that's chock full of young talent that could use a veteran there to kind of teach these guys the cliche, how to be professionals. Shit, I know the Philadelphia 76ers is one of them. A very talented team with pretty much immature leadership. They could use an old-ass Vince Carter who won't hang them up, just sitting on the bench doing nothing but talking and teaching. You know what I mean? So I can see how the Atlanta Hawks could benefit from that. If that's where he's going back to.
Listen, Trey Bell has literally said in multiple interviews how Vince Carter has helped him. He talked about helping with managing his money, how to talk to the media, how to go through
how to talk to girls.
No, so he's literally said this though. He said that in multiple interviews how Vince has helped him in his first year when he didn't start out the way he thought he would. How he sat down and talked to Vince and Vince helped him get on track. So Vince is actually doing exactly what Dev said. Even on a terrible team, he's still somehow contributing. But at the same time, man, look, come and get me. If I were because at the end of the day, Vince did put in work in this league, so he earned the right. If you want to look at it from that perspective too. I put in 22 years. FOH.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing. I haven't heard, if Atlanta's going to re-sign him or not. I just hear Vince say, I'm coming back for my 22nd year. First of all, how the hell somebody wants you? But maybe, something went down that I don't know about. Maybe. I got to check. Maybe he's under contract. I don't know. But,
Vince probably got a player option. Keep taking
they better not be giving Vince Carter anything other than 1-year deals. They better not.
Yeah. And when you think about it, once you're a veteran at a certain point, the veteran minimum is pretty good. So if you can average 7 points, play 12 minutes, and make a pretty good salary, it's hard to tell somebody, roll out. Gilbert is always the one. It's easy for Gilbert to say because, as he always brags about, he got an extra $66 million sitting in his bank account for nothing.
17 games.
He didn't even play. He just got a free paycheck and left the league and never came back. So it's kind of easy for him to tell people to hang things up. When these dudes throughout their whole career had to earn their keep. So.
Listen, man. In the words of the great philosopher Chuck D, man, everybody counts your income, but don't nobody count your expenses. And if I'm Vince, the day I hang it up, I'm calling Ice Cube and I'm going after Gilbert in the Big Three. He gonna get this work. Although I don't know. You won't get this work.
Yeah, I don't know. Gilbert got a nut. Gilbert's squad is a little nuts, literally.
Yeah. Although Swaggy Pete gave Gilbert that work allegedly, they played. So who knows what Gilbert still has left in the tank.
I saw the tape. I saw the footage.
Yeah, but anyway, man, one of the biggest stories this past week took place at Jada Pinkett Smith's Red Table Talk. First of all,
probably the biggest story.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I actually watched most of her episodes. Jada actually has this unique ability to get people to open up.
Say dumb shit.
And I think probably because
just say dumb
shit. Probably because she opens up herself about her insecurities and how she feels, so it makes the people sitting across her do the same. But the biggest controversy that set social media and just everything ablaze this week was Ayesha Curry, the wife of Steph Curry, 2-time MVP, one of the Splash Brothers, and a brother who don't seem to get shape-ups. But she was on the Red Table Talk, and she was talking about the amount of attention that Steph gets from Tatiana and how sometimes it makes her jealous because she doesn't get the same attention from men.
I got the quotes.
And I've seen people, you can give the examples, because people took this all kinds of different ways. But go ahead, Jeff.
All right. So here's the quotes, at least the big quote, because what I implore people to do is what my wife had me do. I mean, and she wasn't doing this to defend the chick or anything. She just wanted me to be fully armed when I came on here and talked about it publicly. Because I had seen the clips, I had read the quotes and all that kind of stuff, but she made sure I sat down with her and watched the entire episode because she's a fan of the show anyway. The only full episode I've ever seen was the Will Smith joint, because I wanted to see him and Jada get on and talk that Keith Murray talk. But here's the quote that got the internet going up in arms all week. She said, something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of insecurity is the fact that, there are all these women throwing themselves, talking about at stuff. But me, the past 10 years, I don't have any of that. I have zero. This sounds weird, but male attention. And so then I begin to internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with me? When she said that, Jada and even her mother-in-law, because Steph's mom was sitting right next to her, they were reassuring her oh, nothing's wrong with you. Don't ever think that. You're just not, you're just not looking. You don't know. They were trying to. Yeah, they were trying to reassure and all that kind of stuff. But the internet, when they got these clips and these comments, it was ablaze. But I'll tell you this, I was here for the memes, the jokes, all of that.
Here for all of it.
But I have a pretty deep perspective on all of this kind of stuff. I personally don't think what she not said. I don't think what she thinks is out of the ordinary. I think it's human nature for you to always, maybe secretly want attention from the opposite sex, no matter what your situation is, even if you don't plan on acting on it or anything like that. Everybody does a check every once in a while to see if they still got it. The thing where I think she went wrong is going on a public forum and saying this, knowing that, the masses, they might have a hard time understanding your perspective or understanding you saying it out loud.
All she did was increase Steph's box offerings exponentially over the next few months.
No, but
and her own.
My perspective on this is I don't think there was anything wrong with what she said. I don't even think it was wrong on the platform. I think that it was kind of common sense. Like, I mean, the need of belonging and to feel wanted was one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Outside of that, Marty Marr told us a long time ago, man, he wanted to see if he still had it. Like, so this is a
and then
thing.
Danced on him.
Yeah, he killed it. He bodied that one, by the way. But y'all remember that episode when he took his ring off in the gym? Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, I completely understood it, but I also understood that here's the thing with the internet. It don't matter what she said, 50% of the people would have been pissed off, 50% of the people would agree with her. Because the one thing that I did see on all the jokes and memes when this broke a couple of days ago on Twitter is half of the chicks was like feeling her, like, damn, I'm glad somebody said it. I feel that way too. And I never wanted to. Some people was like, I've seen celebrity chicks say I always wanted to express that but didn't know how. So, and the fact of the matter is she's trying to build her brand outside of her husband, and she's done a good job on that, right? So this is a win for her, even with the jokes and memes. She's been trending for 3-4 days.
Let's unpack this. First of all, before we peel some more onions off this joint, when I say, when I talk about the platform, I only say that in terms of, okay, because I don't know her personally and I don't follow her or anything like that. I only see, what you see on TV or whatever. If she's sensitive, you know what I'm saying? And, if what is on her social media site, on the internet, if that bothers her, then I think that's when the platform and saying it out loud becomes a problem. But she put out an Instagram post, I think it was either today or yesterday, kind of answering all the backlash, where she very articulately basically wrapped it up and said in a lot of words, I said what I said. Then I was like, okay, she's cool with it. So really, that can just scratch the whole thing from the record as far as as far as it saying, as far as me saying something about the platform, that scratches that out because she doesn't care. I was just saying it publicly and all the backlash is going to cause from a whole lot of people. If that bothers you, if you're sensitive to that, then saying it was a mistake. But she on her, articulate, I said what I said.
Stand what you said. Now, I think as a married person, this is just human nature. Do you want to articulate it in social media where the echo chamber has the IQ, not the IQ, but the maturity of a 13-year-old? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, like you say, Matt, the hierarchy of needs, belonging, being desired. I mean, everybody wants and needs that. However, I would say also understand, and she probably does, but understand what the consequences and repercussions of your words are in the context of your husband and what he deals with.
B, I was waiting for you to finish, to ask you and Jimmy that was my next question to you guys were going to be, okay, if you were Steph, if you were her husband, or if, you guys' wives said something like this in a very public forum where everybody's going to see it and everybody's going to know, how would that make you feel? Would you be a little embarrassed by it? Because they're going to,
honestly,
people going to be coming at your neck too.
I wouldn't trip or be like, oh my God, how could you? I would just look at her side eye like, damn, babe, what you talking about? Like it wouldn't be a big deal because we probably would have already had these conversations and I'd be aware of her feelings. But she would also know what the response was going to be from the see that's the thing that I put out there. It's like, and I know it's conjecture on our part, but it's also we're intelligent people, so what some of the response is going to be, and if you're cool with it, cool, and if you think I'm cool with it, but let's talk about it and cool. But when you say something like that, what the response of the peanut gallery is going to be. So are you ready for that?
To me, if it's me, Dev, I'm like, oh, so you're human. Like, to me, some of the most insecure women I've ever would have talked to in my life are some ones who society would deem the baddest women.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
the most insecure people. They're the most insecure people in the world. The most insecure.
Off of how they look. Their life and their living comes the way they.
But they're the most insecure people in the world. So the fact of the matter is, like I think most people are insecure. I think all of us as humans are insecure. Like in keeping it with sports, Michael Jordan, who most people consider great, Michael Jordan is insecure, which is why after dominating, he doesn't know. He still want to go in on people when he's going into the Hall of Fame. That's his insecurity. Like, so to me, I think it kind of makes you human. But I think we also hit the nail on the head. Like, as long as you're willing to deal with what comes with it, because you know what the peanut gallery is going to say. I think that if you want to live a transparent life, if you want to be rabbit and put your insecurities out there, as long as you can deal with what comes with that, I'm for it. I'm for that because I think if more people were honest about themselves, I think all of us are insecure.
No doubt. And what she wrote in response tells you, she's like, I don't mind being vulnerable, and I encourage other people to do it. But it's still a legitimate concern, legitimate question. Like sometimes when you do and say things like this, you might be living your truth out loud, but you do have to take into consideration, that there's somebody else involved here. Like Steph, she may have opened him up to a lot of disrespect, by saying this. Not even just with the jokes. I'm gonna tell y'all all. I'm gonna just give y'all some stuff from all the conversations I've seen or been in throughout the past week.
I'm pretty sure CP3 said something last night.
He had to.
Yeah. He's a dirty dude. He probably did. But I'm talking about the real stuff, though. First of all, I'm pretty sure her DMs was off the hook this week because she kind of, this is not what she was actually doing, but there's going to be idiots out there who take that as an invitation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure her DMs were filthy this week. That's one thing. But another thing, and a lot of women, some women, because actually I heard this perspective from women, but some women might not like it. They were talking about kind of the differences between men and women as far as respecting the sanctity of marriage goes and stuff like that. Like,
man, Chris Rock told y'all, man.
From what I've heard, and you're right, Jim. Chris Rock made a joke about it. It's kind of like we've watched over the years, especially when it comes to this sports thing, like the term groupie. Like, I don't want to be the one to break it to you. I'm just a messenger, so don't kill me. But the term groupie did not start with the WNBA. It wasn't because dudes was out there acting a fool over famous women or anything like that.
Yo,
but what are y'all? Yeah.
Real quick. Someone built $1 million business called Baller Alert, who was a chain of women alerting each other when there was an NBA or baller close by what they were going to be in. And they built that out in a blog and a business. That's $1 million business now.
I'm about to say that makes a whole lot of money. Yeah, groupie alert, pretty much.
But the point is.
So do y'all think it's anything to what Chris Rock, that sentiment that in his joke and the sentiment of, kind of what I'm describing, what people, men and women, have said, kind of like men don't really lust after, at least not publicly. Like, it's not that men might not have an affair, with a married chick or something like that, but they're not publicly lusting after women who everybody knows is married. And on the other hand, and it's not all women, so if you do not fit this shoe, do not put the shoe on. But we know, you could just look on Instagram and see the low self-esteem. This is, like Jimmy said, these are the chicks who probably would be deemed the most beautiful, who out there showing their bodies, trying to get the attention of these dudes, and they don't mind shooting their shot, because Ayesha Curry said herself that there was an instance when a chick jumped into their car with them, trying to get at Steph. Jumped into their car.
Yo!
A dude's not going to do that. And, of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but there's no dude that's going to do that. So it's kind of like when Steph's in the building with his chick, even if you think his chick is cute, you're going to kind of fall back. You're not going to be lusting over her. But according to her, when they're out, there's a lot of women who don't know their role. And she has to step in sometimes and introduce herself and stuff like that.
There's so many layers to this story, right? Because, I was in this conversation with my wife last night. I asked her flat out, do you think that men are more respectful of a union than women? Basically what you just asked us.
At least publicly.
Because I was always curious to that, because the funny thing is, because she always tells me, she has this thing where she says that sometimes, a woman will say something that most men won't even understand that a woman is, coming in. She basically, that women are devil. They're evil. Women are evil. They're not all women. I don't want anybody saying I'm no toxic masculinity.
And the thing is, Jim, I got the same perspective from a woman. So we just got to let y'all know that. This is coming from women. But the thing don't get mad at us. People are letting y'all secrets out.
They're mad at y'all for still in the game.
So what was Chris Rock?
Y'all all married, man, and y'all know that. I tell my wife sometimes. I said sometimes having a ring on is a magnet. Chicks will come at you. Mm-hmm. Let us find out in 20 minutes. I'm gonna be anyway. All I'm saying is that I think there's something to that part, which makes this conversation even crazier. There's so many layers to this conversation. So I think that half of the stuff is support for her. And another thing that I saw is the perception of the Currys. He's a good Christian guy, the nice guy. Family is always there, mother, father, his wife. So some people took the perspective of, wow, this insecurities, they seem to have the perfect life, and they still go through, having these insecurities, when for most accounts people would think that she has the perfect life, quote unquote. No one has a perfect life, but it was kind of some people was like, wow, so she still deals with stuff.
Yeah, I think that what
I'm
this
paraphrasing real quickly. Let me paraphrase this joke.
Okay.
Let me paraphrase this Chris Rock joke. He's basically saying something like, if dudes see a dude with a good woman, the dude will either think or say to himself, I need to get me a woman like that. He said women see another woman with a good dude, and she's like, I want that man. He said that's the difference between men and women. And just because of that and just because of this situation, I asked a lot of my female friends, and a lot of them, they cop to it as that being a womanly trait.
Every woman
that's probably not going to stop us from getting in trouble, but
the principle of scarcity.
You're not the only one. And be often hit it on the head. By the time especially by the time you take up how many of us they done in jail, how many of us back for the other team, by the time how many of us have been shot by the police, by the time you take all that into account, this slim pickings, dog. I got homies in Atlanta who will literally tell me yo, I can go out any day of the week and just have my pickings of baddies, because they're just not too many out here. It's not enough men. So with that being said, when a chick finds somebody they want, they narrow on them, you know. And again, this is not my perspective for people try to kill me. I'm taking these words from females I talk to, like literally have admitted to it. So this is brought up all kinds of different interesting conversations by her saying that, which leads me back saying that this is all good for her.
Other things that it's doing, peeling back another layer of onion, is having people throw old stuff back in her face. Now, I've seen that before because we know the No Life crew, once you say something, people are going to scan your social media for 10 years just so they can come up with something to say about you, say that you contradicted yourself, as if, you know, people can't change their views on things in, you know, that many years. But one dude was like, he put up an old tweet of hers, and she and Steph were engaged at the time, and she was at the car wash, and she was saying something like, you know, it's a beautiful day. I'm at the car wash, or getting a much needed, you know, wash to my car. She said, but I can do without all the guys trying to holler. I'm engaged, blah, blah, blah. So dude put that up and was like, oh, so I guess she said everything she said this week so she can go back to tweeting like this. Then they threw up one, the joint where she was telling people, you know, you don't have to be half naked out here and all of that kind of stuff. So of course they throw up photos of her in like a rare scantily clad outfit. Like it's just opening up people. We always talk about it. It's like social media. People behind these keyboards are so evil for no reason. It's like they're waiting for you to slip up. She looked too wholesome to everybody, so now they're going to tear her down because she said she likes attention.
That's why
I think it's the tear down game up. Listen, I think it's the tear down on.
But it doesn't matter, man. Like, no matter what you do, it's 50-50. Like, it doesn't matter whether you win the presidency. It doesn't matter whether you can literally, like, save a baby from a burning building, and they'll find something negative about it. Like, that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. I've seen people wish their mother, like, a long thing on Mother's Day, how they love their mom, and then people go in their comments like, ain't say nothing for your dad on Father's Day. I'm like, yo. First of all, why do you know that? And second of all, like, they love their mom. What's the, like?
And Jimmy,
find something negative in everything.
Shout out to Neil in the chat room because she actually typed this right before you said it. She was like, I totally understood and related to what she said. Even Martin took off his ring to see if he still had it.
Exactly. Like, classic episode. Everybody remembers that, man. Listen, man, everybody. So the thing is, and I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of people that like that kind of like resonated with them. But I get the other side of it. But here's another thing I thought about, Dev. Like, you talked about how would it affect Steph. I feel like if I'm with someone and I'm married to them, they pretty much should know how I'll react to pretty much anything, especially if you've been in a relationship as long as they have. So she probably knows how Steph will react to that. You know what I mean? Like, she I don't think she would go out there and say anything that would make him go off. You know what I mean? Although Jada, like I said, Jada does have the unique ability to, like,
but listen, Jim, that's a part of the context that I'm trying to tell people. That's why I started off with the disclaimer that, like, as I was encouraged to, everybody should go watch the entire episode because everything you just said was a part of the context within the episode because Jada specifically asked him, and it had nothing to do with her saying, you know, the comments that got everybody all up in arms. She specifically asked her about Steph and does he have a temper and all that kind of stuff. She talked about how humble and even-keeled and he never blows up and all that kind of stuff. So you're right. She probably understands what his reaction would be. The last onion I have to peel about this whole stuff is Steph related as well, because it's not just about people disrespecting Steph. It comes in the form of, like, because I was in a conversation this week where a woman asked a question about this whole thing, and her question was basically, not even alluding, it was kind of insinuating that this all could stem from stuff that Steph's not doing for her, not giving her. So, exactly, that's what I'm saying. And even though she didn't mean that in any way whatsoever, any form whatsoever, I've seen that in several conversations. So now, for a portion of the population, this whole thing has become a memorandum on how Steph treats his wife, or the neglect that he might be showing her at home. And I don't think, and I'm pretty sure from watching the whole thing, that it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It just might be a little bit of an envious thing. My husband is an NBA superstar. Like, Steph ain't, you know what I'm saying? Steph ain't Don Juan with it, but because of who he is, because of what he can do, because he's always on TV, because he makes a lot of money, it don't matter what it don't matter that he don't get shape-ups. People going to be throwing themselves at him. So when you're with that all the time, and you're sitting here probably in your mind thinking like, yo, I look better than him. Like, why ain't nobody showing me no love? So I can understand as a human, like, that could probably get to you, but I don't think this was any kind of commentary on what Steph does. And there's a lot of conversation going on about that right now. Like, y'all can go to social media right now, just scan through your timeline. You're going to find at least 2 or 3 conversations where people are questioning if Steph is giving her what she needs at home and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think it had anything to do with it.
Listen, man. It's not. That's ridiculous, man. That's utterly ridiculous. He can be doing, and again, no one's perfect. He can be doing everything right. Sometimes people like some other people, man. Listen, man, Sam Rothstein gave Ginger everything she wanted, and she still found her way to Lester Diamond, because that's just what it is. Sometimes people want attention from other people, man. And that's
and we're getting the perspective from a woman, because Neil in the chat room also said, as a married woman, I've had numerous insecurities throughout my marriage. Doesn't mean I love my husband less or I'm going to respond to the attention, but it's nice to know you're attractive to someone other than a person who loves you beyond your looks. So, yeah, it's basically human nature, man. And people are just running wild with it.
If we keep it a being, even as a dude, a married dude, if a chick gives you a compliment in the street, you feel like, oh, yeah, that's what's up, man. Yo, I got on nice sneakers. I'm making that something else in my head. Really wants. She really what? She really wants it, man.
She wants the D. Not the swoosh. She wants it.
No talking.
Like, all right, girl. All right.
You got nice sneakers. Yeah, she wants this.
See, I'm saying that might be a difference between men and women. Like, we take compliments the wrong way. Like we take compliments the wrong way. Like, we're doing way too much when it comes to getting a compliment. Let's go to the phone line real quick, man. We got the homie Tobias on the line. Tobias, what's going on, man? Welcome to the War Room.
Damn, man. Damn. Hey, I was about to I actually thought the Lakers was gonna win the championship before you got to my line. But anyway, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man? We gotta get these bars off sometimes, man. We gotta get these uninterrupted bars off.
That might never happen against Tobias. The Lakers is a joke.
Hey, you know what? I put that in the group chat that, hey, there are a lot of dudes who don't respect LeBron and Savannah's marriage. So we got to get that, take things in perspective, you know. But
yeah. Tobias, to your point, right? How many – another thing I told you, Ayesha wanted to have her own brand. Outside of Savannah and Ayesha, how many NBA wives do we even know?
That's what I'm saying. And here's the thing. It's no knock on Ayesha or Savannah. And it helps like who their husbands are, not just the name, but the financial backing also, to where they could take those risks and be more funded than like even my lady. She's starting a business. Obviously, she doesn't have that funding or that name to help her out as well. It's not knocking them. You take advantage of that gift that you got, but. I'm just waiting to see.
What I'm saying there's a lot of NBA superstars who are married. We just don't know who's like
who their wives are.
I know Russell Westbrook was married.
Hey, here's one for you. Like y'all talking earlier, Scottie Pippen gave Larsa everything she wanted. She still got with Future. But
that's true. That's true. That's absolutely true. You know, he bought her a plane and she messed with a mumble rapper.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though, with insecurities, and I think what women don't get is when it comes to men. Yeah, men and women, we aren't equal, and they keep thinking that we're equal. We're not, and life isn't equal in this regard. A lot of times, we can see Ayesha Curry on the street. We're not even going to get at her like that because I'm like, hold on, she was a man who's making $200 million. What in the hell am I going to do with her? What am I going to do for her? You know? And women, they don't have to have that. They could be free.
Tobias, you also got a sect of dudes that be like, oh, she got a man make 2 in the land. I'm gonna nail this shit. Like, so you got a bunch of scumbags like that too who will go after her just because. So I think that kind of evens out.
And one thing I say this, as a guy who like to pitch in and get the ball to serve like 7 cats, we split the bill, whatever. The bouncers there at the tables will send women our way. They ain't gonna send dudes to Beyonce. She's gonna be secured out. And I think there's a lot of things right there. But one NBA thing I got to touch on real quick, right? Now, we've been saying in here that Boston's overrated, been overrated all year, and that Brad Stevens ain't the next version of Popovich. They need to slow down. The Milwaukee Bucks are for real, in my opinion. And I think what happens is that they don't have to have 4 max guys. They actually have a good team built where they got the superstar guy and you're going to pay that super max to. But you have damn good players on that team who fit the team and fit that star and a good coach. Because people talk about, Middleton. Now, I don't know how great y'all think he is, but damn, he's a good player and all-star. Eric Bledsoe's a good point guard. He's great on defense and will make a play like Steph Curry work because Steph can't hide. And I just think people aren't giving them – I don't know if they won the title, but this team's for real. And people, just because they never made it before, heck, you got to start somewhere in the NBA. Every championship team never made it before.
But it's funny. It's funny because I hear people saying
that.
no one's giving them a chance. I hear more people saying no one's giving them a chance than I hear people not giving them a chance. Like they want 60 games. And
I think we be in
and
different
I agree with the
circles, man. Because I hear people.
Yeah, because I hear
I keep thinking,
never heard no one.
If I got to hear one more time that they made it to the conference final for the first time since 2001, like I thought I was gonna snap. I think people believe in it.
Listen. But I think it's something to your point, Tobias, in essence that it's not about just having like the best player. It's about having a team that fits around the guy you got. Because even when you watch Denver play, they're set up for Jokic to he wouldn't be that player on any other. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes it's about getting the right pieces, not just getting the best pieces. That's but. So I think that Milwaukee is the real deal because they have a team that fits their strong suits. They play defense better than any team in the NBA. They have a guy that gets to the hole at will, and if you collapse on him, they got guys surrounding him that can knock a 3 down. Like, they're a difficult team to beat.
Yeah, and thing is that I've always said the key to Golden State that beating them, and people don't want to admit this. One, it seems like everyone expects these guys, except because they went 73-9 when Obama was in office. How long ago that was? The team was different. They're expecting these guys just roll the balls out. But the one thing to get them is that you have a player that can attack Steph Curry. If you can't hide Steph Curry on defense, that's when Cleveland gave them those problems in having players that could pester him. You're not going to stop him, but you can rough him up and pester him. But, see, Houston could do that, but they want to keep jacking 55 threes a game like they're playing NBA Jam over here instead of taking a two-pointer and doing some other things.
That's part of there. You can't change a game in the 9th inning. But,
dude.
I get your point, but the thing about it is it's easy to say you could beat Golden State this way, but they are the 2-time defending champs. Like, let's not forget that too.
KD does.
Should be 3.
Yeah.
But you know what the thing is? I think what people are forgetting about though is that with these teams, even like Jordan, they keep saying the Bulls 6 titles, but those are 2 different teams, 2 different renditions. And I'm tired of everybody thinking Horace Grant was on square like he never existed, by the way. But anyway, but
no, and I get that as well because this is definitely a different rendition of the Warriors, and because they're no longer deep
Harvey
like
had
they
more
used to be. Because they're not as deep as they used to be, losing Kevin Durant could,
that hurts.
That could be it hurts a lot. And then,
it absolutely, but the one
unless
thing,
Harden pulls a Harden, like they have a chance to beat them twice in a row.
Here's the one thing I do recognize, though. Right? Like watching that game yesterday when KD went out, they looked like the old Warriors. That's the first time they looked like the old Warriors to me in like 3 years.
They went back to not being dependent, more ball movement and all that.
Yeah, it sort of feels like KD is so good that even as good as those guys are, when he's on the floor, they kind of defer to him. Once he was gone, they got back in their bag. Even Draymond started playing better. I was where is it? If they play like this with KD, they might win 100 games in an 82-game season. Like, but it's like when KD's there, KD is so good that they kind of like take a step back.
You know what I think though? I think Steph, in a way, kind of wants KD to leave because he can show, hey, I'm Steph Curry. Y'all forgot who I am. And KD will probably be like, hey, look, I want people to stop talking about I only won because I joined this team. And so I think there are some things on both sides. Yeah, and one thing I know y'all got to run, but all right, people, the Boston Celtics, right? I know Philly fans are not shedding any tears over the Boston Celtics right now, but but can we be honest about Brad Stevens for a second? We know he's a good coach, but they kind of crowned this guy a little too early here.
Tobias, that's what they do, though. I mean, that's what they do, and I'm not saying he's a bad coach. You know what I'm saying?
He's a good
that's
coach.
Another thing. Like I don't think he should have been crowned that quickly in the first place. But if we are going to crown him, I don't think that we decrown him just because they lost this series.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it depends on how you look at him. But there will be a lot of people who put him on that pedestal
and
who are going to be ready to knock him down because of this.
But
he has a new situation as well. He had a difficult job last season. But go ahead.
But this last season, he had to deal with – I'm not trying to defend him, but this last season, he had to deal with those – first of all, you had a team where guys were coming to their own, like a Rozier or even a light-skinned Mamba, and then you tell them they have to take a step back because – yeah, you tell them now you got to take a step back. Yo, because Rozier, when I watched him at the end of the press conference last night, at the end of the game, he sounded almost elated. Like, he literally said out of his mouth, I had to sacrifice more than anybody. Like, so he's like, I don't care what nobody say. I sacrifice more than anybody. And
right. He's basically saying, he said, I'm one of the top guards in this league. And this boy came back and I had to turn into a bum.
He said, I'm one of the top guards in the NBA. Like, this is his thought. So,
I mean, he drawn.
He had a difficult job trying to manage them Eagles. And Gordon Hayward stinks now. Like, and
that's what I was going to say, Jimmy. That's what I was. Hold on. That's what I was gonna say. Like Brad Stevens has a new problem this year. He had that last year because of what Jimmy just laid out. Like, dude, the Eagles weren't crazy. They listened. Everybody bought in, so they overachieved. Then you bring these high-paid dudes back, especially Kyrie, who's not really trying to bend to the coach's whim. And we all know a part of the cliche is, a great is not just about the X and O's. It's about how he manages egos and stuff like that.
Egos.
But that's the thing. This is the first year that he's had that problem. So we don't know if he's presented with this problem again, that he won't adjust, and come back and be able to handle it better with a year of experience under his belt. So I'm not ready to just diss him now that they lost. But I also wasn't ready to crown him just because of what they did last season.
Kyrie will be gone
too. Yeah. But here's the thing, man. The Lakers are a case study in what I've been saying forever, and is written in Sports Book that in order to win, it literally takes more than just the players, more than just the coach. It takes ownership. It takes general managers, presidents, because look at the Lakers since Dr. Buss has been gone. Look at all the stuff that he held together, and now that he's gone, they're in disarray from top to bottom. So
I just said that.
Top from people that don't even.
I just said that in the group chat.
You know what?
I was like,
he held together.
I was like, Jerry Buss dying was the nail in that coffin. I'm like, his kids are morons. Yeah. He's rolling over in his tomb. Because he probably don't have a Jerry. He probably got a tomb.
Think about the Celtics. The time when Red Auerbach closed his eyes, they went years without doing anything again until Danny came and seemed to have put some stuff together. But when Red closed his eyes, they were done. So it takes from the to the bottom. Even with this whole Sixers current team that's competing in the playoffs, it was under new ownership. They ran the process. Sometimes, man, it's not just the player, not just the coach. You need everything to be working well. Even if that means the owner just literally getting out the way and hiring the right people. That's also something good for a team.
You know what? I'll say this before y'all roll, man, because I know you got to roll. But watch the Lakers, for example. it just shows that its destination alone isn't a key. And like I said it once, I say it again. They could poo-poo Cleveland, but it seemed like Cleveland had a better plan. They actually, it was just not a desirable place to go for anybody, and you weren't going to do it. But I think the problem is that LeBron put his hopes in a guy who quit everything. Magic quit everything. And I think that the whole Magic thing
Yeah, but LeBron don't care about basketball. Why y'all keep thinking LeBron cares about basketball?
You know what, though? But here's the other thing.
LeBron don't even be complaining. LeBron used to complain in Cleveland. He'd get on TV and mope and all that. He don't even do that no more.
LeBron got his check.
Yeah, LeBron don't care.
You know what? I'll say this last thing. And everybody keep up, well, they got to get a free agent. The thing is about putting these teams together with these marquee free agents, the reason the Heat team worked or the Golden State team worked so far, those players were around the same age group. They in the same parts of their career to start players. Boston didn't work because you had Kyrie at the stage of his career. He has with other guys trying to find themselves so they could get paid. Nothing wrong with that. So I think that you have to understand team building and not just throw things together. You're going to have to pick a lane, grow young guys, or we're going to go veteran and just build a super team and do what we can do. But, hey, you guys take it easy, man.
All right.
Peace. No doubt.
See, but that's it's really not that easy because when you try to go with the young guys, you get all the criticism then. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. I think last year was a gift. Last year was a gift and a curse for them to me, because they didn't have those expectations. But they made, and so the Celtics would have lost in the first last year. No one would have cared about this year. But it's just the fact that they made it so far. And the expectations when you make it to the Eastern Finals.
If the Celtics didn't make the playoffs last year, nobody would have batted an eye.
Yeah.
But because they went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals with their backups, then people this offseason basically handed the Celtics the Eastern Conference for the next 5 years. And that's what people do, man. Hot takes, prisoners of the moment. Nobody sat back and thought, I don't know. I mean, because a few of us rational thinking people did, we said having a lot of talent is a great problem to have, but it's going to be hell on the coach. And it ended up being hell on the coach.
Man, listen.
Because you got to satisfy a lot of people, and you got dudes that's like, look, man, we did this last year without these cats.
Sitting around long enough to see teams have literally too much talent. I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen Laker teams back in the 80s. I've seen Sixers teams in the 80s. I've seen Pistons. Sometimes less is more if you have people that understand their position. I've seen these,
role.
Man. You know what I mean?
Examples for them. How are you going to have, a second-year player should always know his position. But how does a second-year player like Jason Tatum know his position when the whole world told him how great he was coming into the second year? That's what I'm saying. So it's hard to stay even keel. It's hard to stay egoless when people tell you, how great you are coming in. You be like, oh, hey, I'm 1B to Kyrie's 1A. I'm not even number 2 here. I'm 1B. And it just didn't work out that way because we don't give people a chance to develop, we don't give people a chance to do anything. If you have a decent first year, and the example Jimmy gave earlier about the quarterbacks and people having film on you, it's different. People are watching you now. People are trying to figure out ways to guard you because they have anointed you the next. So it's not going to be that easy every night. But
listen, man. Listen, sometimes it's about the P. I remember Adrian Dantley, right, back in the 80s. He played for the Pistons. Now, Adrian Dantley is like a career 25-a-game scorer. And he used to cook cats. People don't remember, he used to cook cats. And he got on that Pistons team, and between Isaiah, Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, it wasn't enough shots for him. They had a talented team on paper. They traded him for an aging Mark Aguirre and then went back-to-back. They actually got an aging guy who required less shots and won back-to-back titles, although they had on what you would look on paper and say is an inferior team. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's the same thing.
That could be like the Melo story almost. with Houston. or even OKC.
Yeah,
like
Melo
you look at them on paper last year, like, yo, they got Russ, Paul George, and Melo. And then, Melo leaves and people get better after Melo leaves. And he's one of my favorites. So I hate the fact that happens, but it happens.
Because
when
it
Dor
seems like
leaves,
people want to
teams
play
be
with
getting
him
better.
feel like they have to get him his touches. Like Melo played in the Knicks a lot of times. Like even when he got hurt for the Knicks and they went on that run, when he came back,
Right.
it's like they force fed him the ball. Like Melo is one of those guys that didn't score within the flow of the game. People just felt like they had to get him his touches. So,
but you know why,
my
Jim?
whole point is like
you're not going to find a lot of people out there with the maturity of a Dwayne Wade, like in Miami, how he deferred and he wasn't even asked to defer by his coaches or anybody.
He did himself.
He looked himself and decided, the best thing for this team is if I take a step back and let LeBron
he said,
be
"Yo,
that
boy,
dude."
better than me." He said, "Yo, boy, better than me."
Because when they got together, I think Dwayne Wade just swore this was an equal thing. Like, okay, somebody coming here that's just as good as me. He started playing with the dude like, hold up. Like, all right now. He like, all right now.
What? There's a certain level.
There's
There's
a
a certain
maturity
level of I don't want to use the word genius, right? But sometimes people say that most geniuses a lot of times know when to get the way and let others shine. That's an honorable trait. You don't always have. Part of being an alpha male, part of being a leader, is to know when to fall back.
Right. And that's the thing, a lot of alpha males, like you run the company, but you don't have to do everything. You know how to delegate. You know how to let other people shine where they shine best. You know when somebody's smarter than you, that's why you hired them.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So, let me get some quick birthday shout out so we can get right back into the
That's where Kyrie
NBA.
went wrong. This is the last point. That's where Kyrie went wrong because it's kind of what we talked about earlier. Him wanting to be Mamba so much, he didn't know how to fall back and let Rozier do his thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because But anyway, get a birthday shout out so we can move forward.
You got a quick point, B, before you want to make a last point? We're gonna get back to it, but if you want to make a last point real quick,
we go back to it.
All right. So let's get these quick birthday shout outs. Birthdays don't have a sponsor, so this will be quick. Shout out to Jake Long, who turns 34 years old. Prince Fielder is 35. Doug Christie. Now, I don't know. This might not be a sanctioned birthday shout out because did any of y'all check with his wife to make sure that we can mention his name? She owns all his publishing, so we got to check with her before we sample his name. Anyway, Doug Christie turns 49. David Benoit is 51 years old. Shout out to the little old bull, Calvin Murphy. He's 71 years old. Get some better suits. And rest in peace. Shout out to Tony Gwynn. He was born May 9th, 1960. Passed away too young, June 16th, 2014.
Damn.
So we'd like to give a war room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays. I forgot why Tony Gwynn died. I looked that up. I saw that. Like, yo, why did Tony Gwynn die so young?
I think he must have had that stuff Joel got. Oh, matter of fact,
of course.
I think.
I'm gonna just keep
and
going.
Now, don't quote me on this, but if I remember correctly, I think that Tony Gwynn had a cancer. But I remember them having a real sports and they were trying to blame it on him chewing tobacco since he was 8 years old.
Which that could be a thing, man. Them dudes used to do some.
Yeah, he was one of those head tobacco chewers.
Oh man, he had that jawbone.
Come on, man.
Good.
Wrong with y'all, man?
I got nothing, man.
All right, man. Y'all can check out our website, warroomsports.com. If you want to call us and speak with us about any of these NBA playoff topics we're about to rap about, down the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk, man. Go ahead, Jim.
Listen, man. This NBA rap is brought to you by Digital Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Here's what you do. Go to digitalextremetech.com. Say, yo, I heard it in the war room. Give me my discount. You put your discount. You can also call them 267-205-4203. You get your discount. We'd like to thank Digital Extreme Technologies for always supporting the war room. But it's time to talk about this thing of ours and continue to talk about this thing of ours, the National Basketball Association. Listen, man. The playoffs are getting deep into the playoffs, but somehow the Lakers are still making all the moves in the world. They were negotiating with Tyronn Lue, and it came to a halt. They wanted to offer him 3 years, and he wanted a 5-year deal because a lot of his contemporaries, and actually people with a less resume than him, have been getting 5-year deals, but the Lakers weren't willing to do it. And from what I'm hearing, they think that Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis, who's Kurt Rambis, has something to do with this. So
we told y'all last week.
Is like
what they calling her? Shadow owner? Yo, the Rambises. Yo, she must got gambling debts to the Rambises because they were running the show over there.
they say that Jeannie Buss like has this thing with like loyalty to the past, and I guess that's what she knows. But like, yo, you know what's crazy about this is because it's on such a big stage, and it's the Lakers. It's like, you know, but I see this all the time with small businesses where instead of bringing the right people, when someone gets up in age, automatically just leave it to their kids and their kids running in the ground.
Yeah.
It's crazy to watch it like a family business on such a big stage. See the same thing happen that I've literally seen the corner stores. I see dry cleaners, like small
I'm glad the Forum
businesses
Club closed, cuz. Can you imagine what they would have done to the Forum Club by now? That's going to be a library.
She'd have ruined that beautiful place.
Yo, they had EJ and her friends up in there running the Forum Club sacrilegiously.
Yo. But
so listen, the deal was the offer was around like 3 years, $18 million. Now, I don't think the disrespect, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Lou does. He has an NBA title, so he's looking for bigger bucks, and whatever the coaching market may be right now. I personally don't, you know, Tyronn Lue really hasn't proven to me that he's all that great of a coach. Things just kind of worked out the way they were going to work out in Cleveland, and with LeBron there and the state of the Eastern Conference at the time that they both got to Cleveland, you know, that not winning the chip was bound to happen because nobody expected Golden State to falter. But, you know, they were down 3-1 at the time. So by a lot of accounts, people think if Draymond never did what he did, then that would have never happened in Cleveland. It did happen in Cleveland. I don't know how much credit people are giving to Tyronn Lue, but I don't think the disrespect comes in the Lakers' monetary offer. Where I think the disrespect comes is the fact that they're offering him this position and this money, but they don't want to let him choose his own staff. And as a matter of fact, back to these names, from what I hear, they wanted to place Kurt Rambis on his staff as his lead assistant / associate head coach. So it's like, I don't understand like this power move of them and the Rambises putting themselves, you know, into everything Lakers related, and Jeannie Buss actually allowing them to do it. That's why I think there's some gambling debts involved here. And I don't know, but they were throwing the crazy part is, his wife's name around as quote unquote shadow owner last week, and I have no clue what that means, but the power that they seem to be wielding, at least in rumors, is something to that.
But from what I'm reading, Linda Rambis' only connection is her and Jeannie are like best friends. So,
right. Jeannie must have smashed Kurt and got caught, and she was like, to keep the friendship, you got to give us a part of the Lakers. I don't know what it is.
Listen, I've been in relationships in my life where like you mess with a chick and she's listening to her dumb girlfriend, and her girlfriend not even giving her good advice or just lying
or don't know nothing about what you're asking her about. She know about basketball.
Yeah. This a whole other level.
All she knows is people should wear goggles if they can't see that well, because my husband used to do it.
Yo,
I got it.
But the crazy part about this, man, it's like I know Jim Buss is sitting back laughing because, you know, he was running the team in the ground before she got her shot. Like, but now he's probably enjoying this because she's basically becoming a joke.
Yo, being the great business minds that you are, and us understanding that this discord in the organization does not necessarily mean that revenues are down. how long do you think it is before this impacts revenues, or are they going to be able to mimic Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder and get the fan base mediocrity and still be in the top 10% profitability-wise?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect revenues anytime soon. But at the same time, it has to be embarrassing. And Jerry Jones does like the whole
Lakers fans are planning to have a protest outside Staples Center tomorrow.
Here's the thing. Sometimes being a good owner is hiring a basketball mind and getting out the way. And I think that's kind of what she needs to do. She needs to hire someone and just get out the way. You know, in the words of Ludacris, move. Never mind. But just out the way.
First of all, let me ask you about your fan base, man. How entitled are Lakers fans that they protest when their team garbage? Everybody else just sit through it, stop going to the games. Lakers fans are going to protest like we are the Lakers. We do not be garbage for a decade. It's not us.
Yeah,
they gonna protest like that's gonna make a difference.
But it does get embarrassing when the Clippers are the better team in LA. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like the Clippers being the better location. Like
the only saving grace I think y'all have with that is even though the Clippers for the better part of the last decade has been the better team in LA, it still seems like the Clippers are never going to win a championship. So as long as y'all got them 16 things hanging up in their arena.
Put a banner up.
Yeah. As long as they still as long as they still live in y'all basement, it don't matter how good they are. It's like if somebody, if I let somebody live in my basement, and you know because his credit jacked up and all that kind of stuff, but he actually got a job and he making more money than me. You still live in my basement. I still did way more than you.
I just don't understand like what's the and I don't understand what they're doing. And that's the crazy part. Like, what is your plan? What are you doing? Like, especially when you talk about this being the year of free agents. You don't have any stability anywhere in the organization for a free agent to want to come there.
Jimmy, it sounds like they let the social media, they let all the jokes get to them. You know, all the LeBron ran things in Cleveland. He was the GM, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like they're fighting against him, and he ain't even trying to fight for that power. Sometimes it sounds like that to me.
Exactly.
Like, it's like Jeannie Buss is trying to wrestle. She's trying to do things that make a point that he doesn't run this. We do. But you're embarrassing yourself.
That's a great point.
Because he don't even give a shit right now. It's kind of like
greenlit.
Yo, Jim, it's kind of like we're going to bring Lou in for this interview, because he had success with LeBron, but we're going to lowball him, disrespect him, just so we don't look like we're catering to LeBron's every need. Meanwhile, LeBron probably never asked y'all to bring in Tyronn Lue.
Yo,
LeBron, like you say, he's in the studio.
LeBron is preparing to take Blaze Pizza public. He ain't even thinking about basketball. And
LeBron,
the fact of the matter is
talking with Tyler Perry and trying to help him get his studio opened up or something.
Yo, the Lakers, Bonnie Williams chose the Phoenix Suns over the Lakers. Phoenix Suns have the worst owner in all of sports. He still want to go work for him.
Less expectations. The Lakers will put you in a terrible situation, and then you have expectations. And that's why I said I don't think the years that they offered Tyronn Lue, I don't think that's terrible because these days, when the job doesn't get done, people aren't lasting more than 3 years anyway. And I know these organizations are tired of paying these coaches free money after they fire them. So I'm like, the new standard in this microwave society should be 3-year contracts for coaches. Now, I take all this back.
I get that, but the market is different.
It's supposed to be the next one getting interviewed. Now, if they offer him something better financially than they offered Tyronn Lue and even more power, then I take all of this back because if they're not going to be, fair and equal and give the same type of offer to everybody, then there's something else going on there.
I see. My thing is, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it. But at the same time, in sports, it's always about what the market bears. And like David Tisdale's got a 5-year deal. The last several coaches got 5 years.
I'm not saying Tyronn Lue need to go for it, but I can say I can understand because Tyronn Lue is still owed like $7 million from the Cavs. So it's a lot of coaches.
And the fact of the matter is, whether he gets credit for it or not, his resume is what it is. Like, So I have that resume. I'm going to sit there and leverage it and try to get into. And Tyronn Lue was an assistant coach for like 40 years. It seemed like.
And he will get it.
Tyronn Lue was an assistant
He might not
coach,
necessarily be with the Lakers, but he's gonna get it. But my thing is, it's weird that organization. It's still weird that that's even the standard, because everybody's in this, instantaneous gratification process. So it's like, if y'all know, you're so, there's so many prisoners of the moments out there. Like, if this dude don't turn it around in 2 years, you're gonna fire him. So why are we out here giving 5-year deals? But then they wait to get somebody who's actually won a ring to disrespect him. Like, that's the thing y'all should have offered Frank Vogel first. Y'all should have interviewed him first.
If I'm Tyronn Lue, I'm happy now as you see this play out, because this organization is like, they lost.
Yeah.
They're completely lost, man. But anyway,
I think people think that's his best chance because he's had success with LeBron. But
yeah, but I agree with you. It does seem like they're fighting somebody that's not fighting them. Like he's off doing everything else, and they want to like make a point that he's not running things. He's like, cool.
Genie trying to let y'all know. LeBron don't run this. I'm like, well, LeBron's teams were a little more successful when he did run it, so maybe you might want to ask him
pretty much.
Instead of Rob Pelinka.
Yo, and Rob Pelinka, here to go. Rob Pelinka, what's his only thing is he's Kobe's guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Kobe's when they try and pull strings without being seen.
I heard somebody say that today. I didn't really believe that. I fully believe that Rob Pelinka only has a job because of his affiliation. I just find it hard to believe that Kobe's pulling any strings. I mean, there's really nothing being pulled. Nobody's doing anything. That's the head scratching part.
I didn't mean he was making moves to the trade and all that. I do get the feeling that before Rob does anything, he calls Kobe though. What you think?
Kobe's like, he a bum. He a bum. He don't got Mamba mentality. All right, scratch him.
Kobe gonna fall on the cloud with everybody that work out with him.
He gonna be the new clutch.
Now
the Mamba, the MM boy. Versus
Mamba mentality. Y'all laughing, but watch Barry sign with the Lakers.
That'd be crazy. Barry, he's seemed too ornery lately to be the dude to go back, crawling with his tail between his legs. But we'll see. All right, what else?
Anyway, man, but the playoffs are in full swing, man. The Celtics are dead in 5. That series, so far that's over. Celtics won game 1.
We talked about that. The only thing I want to say, I definitely want to give a shout out to Paul Pierce. Because we talked about that. Like, after game 1, the Celtics got a 22-point win. He said this series was over. How disrespectful is that to a team that won 60 games this year? It's over after game 1. The hot takes got to
stop. Paul Pierce off TV.
He'd be on TV farting.
Between him farting and that white woman.
Yo, for his own sake and his own legacy, they got to get him off TV, yo.
That's
he
the thing.
And he be serious. And he's the type of boy, like, he'll say something, and he'll know you think he's joking, and he'll say it in a way where he's cool if you laugh, but he also will double back and say, yo, I was serious. I'm better than him.
That works in the climate, though. That works. The people love hot takes.
Yeah, but he's too emotional for this job because he can't help but compare everybody they talk about with himself.
Because he played with a lot of these dudes.
Right. So his truth mentality comes out, and it makes him say dumb stuff because it's always them against me. And when he said that series was over, you got to realize that he's not a part of the Boston Celtics anymore. And we talked about how inconsistent they were all season. You really think because they won game 1 that it was going to be that easy against a 60-win team with the probable MVP on it? Come on, dude.
Listen, man, he invented the step back, man. He invented the step back. Give him his credit.
But you know what it is, Jim? These dudes, because they all do it. Stephen A. Smith, he don't even study games no more. He just scream and talk about his connections and who texts him and all that kind of stuff. These guys don't have to get they never get held accountable because, like you said before, entertainment trumps basically intelligence these days. So nobody's really looking for no raw, intelligent analysis. The hot takes and the prisoner of the moment takes and all of that kind of stuff keeps the ratings up, keeps the clicks, the views, the likes, the shares, and it gets their paycheck.
Let me tell you how bad it is. They make Rick Bucher look like a genius, like he's the intelligent person in the room.
Right. Speaking of, I saw Rick Bucher talking with Shitlock and them today, right? Yo, Jason Whitlock literally contradicted his last point with his next point. Literally. And they get away with this because they're all hot takes.
Let me tell you how bad it is.
One way, hot take the other way.
No, but
people love it.
Here's how bad it really is, though. Here's the one thing y'all missing, how bad it really is. It's so bad that most of these shows come out and say, I have a hot take. They're telling you they have hot takes and then dropping the bars on it. Like, yo, they be like, yo, I got a hot take. They be like, yo, I got a hot take.
Basically, they're saying this. They're dropping this on you. Listen, I'm about to say stupid shit. Like I'm about to say my dumb stuff for the day. And then they say it.
Like they literally
but it's been like that. That's how the playoffs are being covered. It's the same thing in this Sixers series. After game one, the Sixers didn't have a chance. Oh, Toronto dismantled them. The Sixers don't have what it takes to beat this team. Sixers win 2 games, go up 2-1. People are like, the Sixers are finally rounding into the team we thought they were when they made the trades. They're finally gelling. We think they'll end up in the NBA Finals. And shout out to, Rick Bodner, Mark Bodner, he tweeted something like this earlier. Then Toronto comes back and beats them, ties the series. And, earlier we said that Toronto didn't have what it took to match up with this starting lineup. Then they start to take it back. Toronto destroys the Sixers in Game 5, and it's over. Everybody's making jokes about how, they can't wait to see Kawhi versus Giannis. Charles Barkley's on TV talking about, we made our reservations for the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll be going back and forth to Milwaukee and then what's the name? So if the Sixers win Game 6 tonight, what's going to be the next? What's going to be the next?
The funniest thing I saw was after Game 3 when the Sixers went up 2-1. I've heard pundits say that Kawhi wasn't as aggressive as he should have been down the stretch. They win Game 4. They said Kawhi is better than Kobe Bryant. They win Game 5, and they win Game 5. They said Kawhi is arguably the best defensive player to ever play basketball.
Yo, and this is the point we make.
And all of this,
everybody's legacy is determined on a game-by-game basis. Because if Kawhi comes out Game 6 in Philly and lays down a stinker and the Sixers blow them out, which is possible because it happened earlier in the series, then we're going to hear something else. Because, Joel and Ben and all those guys were gelling and they looked like an NBA Finals team. 2 games later, they were saying Joel and or Simmons should be traded. Like they're trying to figure out which one should be traded to make the team.
They turned on Dame Lillard after the OKC series. He was a top 2 point guard in the league. After the last game when Denver won, they said that he doesn't have what it takes to ever be an NBA champion. I'm like, yo.
This is crazy. Go ahead, B. My bad. I cut you off.
Yo, the issue that we're having with these hot takes is that these guys have no intelligence and no pride. Like they have no pride in what they do.
But you know what though? I don't even think I think some of them actually are intelligent. I think that they've just bought into like they get ratings. They bought into the entertainment part of it. Because sometimes they like I think they sit and combat like who can come up with the most egregious or crazy hot take. And I think that's why Max Kellerman is like cooking them because he's like, I'm gonna go so far, say something to piss everybody off. I think they do that. They sit around like,
Max Kellerman is having a doozy of a week with his hot takes.
Yeah.
He is having a doozy of a week.
Yeah, but the thing is, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it's lack of intelligence because I could tell that he sat around and like cooked it up. Like I'm gonna say this in this kind of way to get this reaction. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's putting thought into this. Just to rile people up.
I watch the birth of this, and I tell y'all this all the time. This whole thing started kind of with Pardon the Interruption. Like when that show first came out, I loved it. But then I started to notice, especially because Tony Kornheiser also had a radio show in town. So I used to listen to that in the daytime and then watch PTI in the evening. And dude had two totally different belief systems on those shows. So I'm like,
see, but I think
that was the advent of the argument show. So he had to sometimes change his real ideology because he had to be different than Wilbon, and they had to argue. And then you go on the radio
for me,
act like you never said that stuff. I'm like, yo.
To me, this all started. I remember as a kid, I used to see Howard Eskin do this. Howard Eskin would be on the news on like CBS and say one thing. He would get on his radio show and say something totally opposite, but he would say it in such a condescending way that he literally would have people call his show and threaten to kill and fight him.
You're right, because his radio persona was to be a villain. And like you said, he would get like interviewed on the news and he was a little nicer. Now that he's gotten so popular and he's had so many years in, he can be the villain anytime he wants. But back then, I
and the thing
get
is,
exactly.
And shout out to his son Spike, who's been in our show. Like talking to him, he just say that he's told me like, yo, it's probably the entertainer, and he's made a hell of a living doing it. Like, so to me, it goes back to him. But it and even with Max, right? Well, I used to listen to Max when him and Marcellus had like a radio show, but it was a LA-based show. When this was like years ago, when ESPN started putting their stuff online, I used to listen to them because they used to cover the Lakers. And he was notorious for this even back then. But the thing is, I think that Max is actually he goes out of his way to create these crazy takes to piss people off. And did you see when he did the thing about Kobe this week when he said that Kawhi is a better clutch player than Kobe Bryant?
Better clutch player than Kobe Bryant. He also mentioned that Kawhi was in the argument for greatest defensive player of all time. It's crazy.
Yo, Jay Williams got so mad he walked off. He couldn't even debate him anymore. He walked off the set. He's like, I'm not. He's like, he said, I'm not doing this. He said, I'm not doing this, and got up, walked off the set.
Because Jay Williams is not fully immersed in. He's not fully immersed yet in the culture. He's still pretty much a newbie. He's still trying to show people his analyst chops most of the time. So he's really not. And I guarantee that probably would be me if I ever got on with those dudes. Real quick, because we gotta go, fellas. KD's injury. Real quick,
I was gonna say one thing about that last point about that. That's that when he got up and walked away, I guarantee you the producers probably got hyped like this is going viral. He did exactly what they wanted him to do. That's all.
They probably said it in his ear though. Get up and walk away. Get up and walk away.
But it's all love and hip hop.
We got like 20 seconds. KD's injury is supposed to be a calf strain. He's definitely out for the rest of this series. And if it's anything more serious, of course, moving on. What do y'all think Golden State's going to do without them? Jimmy mentioned earlier that, they kind of look like they went back to the old Golden State without him, but they're not as deep as they used to be when they could do that.
Yeah, that's the only concern.
In full games, that was a quarter and a half. And they put them in full games without KD?
Yeah, I think KD's period came on. But I also think that that it's possible, but you mentioned the one thing, the one weakness is their bench. Now, last night they got good production from their bench, but I think that's what it all boils down to. But Steph started getting back in his Steph bag, and if Steph's back in his Steph bag in MVP seasons and Harden disappears like he did last night, then Houston might be out of here.
Yo, Scott View in the chat room still caping for Mark Jackson. He can't get a run.
Houston is going to go bye-bye, but the Warriors are in trouble if KD is truly injured, because even if he can come back, playoff intensity basketball, he's still going to be hobbled. He's not going to be the same. They're in trouble, but I do think they get out of this series because Chris Paul.
A great chance for the Nuggets, a team that I really didn't believe in until recently, but they might have a great shot in front of them playing against a non-deep Warriors team.
But I still think they could beat either of those teams without KD. I think they could beat one of those teams. But I don't know.
Milwaukee might be their buzzsaw. We'll talk about it next week.
Last point I want to make, and it might just be me, but to me, CP3 fell off, dog. Why didn't play? The old CP3, the old CP3. I'm talking about even from last year. The old, CP3 of last year before he got hurt, they would have won that game last night. Like, he can't shoot no more. He can't even make foul shots no more. Anyway,
garbage.
Just the observation. Anyway, man, it's time for us to get out of here. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, people in the group be at. Salute to you guys as well. Everybody who called and got through, we appreciate it. Those we couldn't get to, we apologize. We had a lot to talk about. This thing of ours is popping, so we got to do it. Tune in this week live right here on demand as we catch you up on everything happening in NBA playoffs. We'll also catch you up on everything happening in the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this next week, and we'll see you right back here. Be sure to catch everything that we do at the Hub, which is warroomsports.com. Again, the Hub is warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up a copy of my book, Sports to Book, at sportstobook.com, or the Hub, warroomsports.com. But until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the world of ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dez, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. OneRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-1400-12. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dez, PJ, Jack Beck, the Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.